watching Dante Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? I told you when Canelo Alvarez signed a 2-fight deal to fight Avni Yildirim and then Billy Joe Saunders this year that this was the mark of a bad year of boxing. Both Teofimo Lopez and Ryan Garcia have constantly been telling the public they're going to fight Devin Haney and Tank Davis. And then at the last minute, they both pull out. And just when I thought Ryan Garcia's situation was at least a little bit better than Teo's, because hey, he's fighting against Manny Pacquiao. I mean, you can't really criticize a fight like that much unless it's not a real damn fight. Then it's way worse than anything that even Teofimo would be doing. Hell, that's worse than Canelo fighting Avni Yildirim. Because with Yildirim, even if he closes his eyes and accidentally hits Canelo and knocks him out, guess what? The win counts. Well, guys, it turns out, unfortunately, Tank Davis was right. He told us all along it was going to be an exhibition. I didn't want to believe it. Tank was right. It's just been confirmed that Ryan Garcia will fight Manny Pacquiao in an exhibition bout. Basically a sparring match with pay. Do you guys remember about over a year ago when Tank and Ryan, they were going back and forth trash talking each other, and Tank challenged Ryan Garcia to a sparring match? And I remember this like it was yesterday. The decafs and old media, they completely opposed the idea of Ryan Garcia sparring with Tank Davis because they thought that would ruin Ryan Garcia's reputation if he were to get beat up by Tank in a sparring match. I remember there were boxing writers. They were writing articles pleading with Oscar De La Hoya not to let this happen. And then they would say, along with the decavs, they would say, what does he have to gain? It's a waste of time. What does he have to gain sparring with Tank Davis? It means nothing. This is what they were saying. And I remember Ryan Garcia's first response to Tank challenging him to a sparring session. Ryan said, I don't want to spar you. I want a real fight with you. This is what Ryan said. Fast forward to present day, Ryan Garcia is telling Mike Tyson, he's telling the whole boxing world, it is written in stone. We are fighting next. This is what he said to Mike Tyson. Ryan did interviews telling Tank Davis, you better take this fight. If you don't take this fight, your career ain't gonna go nowhere. So you better take the fight, etc., etc., etc. Making it sound like he was the new boogeyman in the sport of boxing. He said all of this just to have an exhibition match with Manny Pacquiao? A fight that's not even gonna count? This is terrible, guys. This is a bad look for the sport of boxing. It's definitely a bad look for Manny Pacquiao and Ryan Garcia. Exhibitions are for retired fighters. Exhibitions are not for fighters that are in their prime. Exhibitions are not for current champions. Unless you're having a circus type of exhibition where it's the middleweight champion against the heavyweight champion. That's a different situation. And I forgot to include Manny Pacquiao's name when I was talking about Teofimo and Ryan promising that they're going to fight a particular opponent, and then they do something completely different, something that the boxing world doesn't even care for or want to see. Manny Pacquiao had been promoting that he was going to fight either Terrence Crawford or Errol Spence. And then it went to Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor got knocked out. Now he's going to fight Ryan Garcia in an exhibition. Pacquiao could have waited until he retired to do something like this. And when it comes to Ryan Garcia, if this is just an exhibition, that means Ryan could have continued negotiating to fight Tank Davis. Well, technically, the negotiations didn't even start. But if you're serious about fighting Tank Davis, why wouldn't you negotiate a fight right now? Once again, an exhibition is not a real fight. So you could be negotiating right now to fight Tank Davis whenever, September or whenever it's going to be. The fact that Ryan Garcia is not pushing to negotiate a fight with Tank Davis, it really comes off as the ultimate cap. Same thing applies with Teofimo Lopez. On Monday, he would say, well, you know what? If Devin Haney wants it, he can get it next. I don't think any of these guys will step up to the plate. On Tuesday, he'll say, I'm not fighting Devin Haney for 3 to 5 years. On Wednesday, he'll say, I talked to my dad and we both agree that it has to be Devin Haney next. Matter of fact, we're going to send contracts out to both Kambosos and Devin Haney. Whoever signs the contract first is who will fight next. On Thursday, he says it ain't going to happen. I'm not fighting Devin Haney. I'm fighting Kambosos. Devin Haney, he has to earn his shot by fighting either Fortuna or Rolly. So this is what I say to Teofimo. I say the same thing to Teo that I would say to Ryan. If that's the case, why don't you work out a contract right now where you present it to Devin Haney and you say, go ahead, you fight Fortuna, I fight Kambosos, and if we put it in the contract, as long as we both win our next fights, we fight next. You can make that contract right now. So we would have it written in stone that the fight is official. Just like Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, they had a 3-fight deal, where as long as they won their previous 2 fights, we knew that they would fight each other at the end of the year. Teo and Ryan could do the exact same thing, so why aren't they doing it? Of course, when the news broke that Ryan Garcia would be facing Manny Pacquiao next, people were completely ripping Ryan Garcia. But even the small percentage of people that were defending him, they kept saying, oh, well, Manny Pacquiao is a bigger fight. It's a much bigger fight, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now, guys, now that it's an exhibition, you can't even use that as a defense. There's no justifying fighting Manny Pacquiao in an exhibition. The people that are trying to defend Ryan Garcia, these are the same people that tried to make excuses for why Manny Pacquiao was going to lose to Floyd Mayweather 6 years ago. When Floyd Mayweather was about to fight Manny Pacquiao, just because they knew deep down that Floyd Mayweather was a better fighter and he would most likely win, they started making excuses before the fight took place, saying, oh, Floyd Mayweather waited for him to get old, et cetera, et cetera. But yet, when I first broke the news, before we found out it was an exhibition, these were the same fans trying to say, oh man, that's a much bigger fight. You see how the double standards work in the sport of boxing, guys? As long as someone that's not on a coincidental list is fighting Manny Pacquiao, it's a good fight. It's a big fight. It's the biggest fight, right? But if Errol Spence wants to fight Pacquiao, if Terrence Crawford, if Floyd Mayweather wants to fight him, then they're just trying to fight an old, faded past his prime Pacquiao. I'm telling you guys right now, the racism that exists in boxing is destroying the sport. Teofimo Lopez, he did a live on his Instagram where he asked his own fans, who do you want to see me fight next? This was right after Gervonta Tank Davis had knocked out Leo Santa Cruz. His own fans said they wanted him to fight Tank Davis. According to Teo himself, he admitted this, right? And Kevin Iole of Yahoo Sports, he was watching that live. Now, after he just heard what the fans actually demanded, what the boxing fans wanted, you know what he tells Teo? He says, Teo, I want you to fight Josh Taylor. I want you to fight the winner of Josh Taylor versus Ramirez. You see how that MBF works? You see, Kevin was blowing that dog whistle to Teo. He was like, no, man, Tank is way too damn dangerous. And he ain't got the complexion for the protection. If you're gonna lose to someone, at least let it be to someone who's not black. Fight Josh Taylor, fight Ramirez, fight one of those guys. That way, if you lose, we got someone else we can continue to root for. I mean, just think about this for a second. Even if Kevin Iole really personally just wanted to see Tio versus the winner of Taylor Ramirez, once he found out that the boxing fans wanted a different fight, why wouldn't he say, at least for the betterment of the sport, why wouldn't he say, well, I stand corrected? This is what the boxing world wants. This is what the fans want. This man, Iole, and many people that think like him, he would rather the sport not grow just to protect his own personal interests. And this is the reason why 2021 is shaping up as the biggest display of MBF we've ever seen. Old media and many of these decafs, they don't care if the boxing world doesn't get the real fights we want to see, as long as their fighters are protected at the end of the day. The boxing world continues to find new ways to protect fighters on the hope list. First, they came out with that MBF franchise belt, because that's what it is. That's the MBF belt, guys. Canelo Alvarez, he requested that belt when he didn't want to fight his mandatory Jamal Charlo. Lomachenko requested that belt when he didn't want to fight his mandatory Devin Haney. Teofimo Lopez requested the belt if he beats Lomachenko. Now he doesn't want to fight Devin Haney. It's the MBF belt, guys. So first they came up with the MBF belt. Now you got the new exhibitions. This is a new way for them to protect fighters' records now. So now you can avoid someone, fight whoever you want to fight, and it's not going to affect your record. Hopefully this is not a trend that many fighters are going to start now. See, clearly promoters like Golden Boy Oscar De La Hoya, they're looking at the success of Mike Tyson's exhibition, or they know that Floyd Mayweather often does exhibitions. But once again, these are retired fighters. You putting your active fighters that are in their prime, you putting current champions in exhibition bouts, you're making your own fighters look bad. And more importantly, you're making the sport of boxing look bad. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. Make sure you go ahead and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Deki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodeki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.
Get ready to take your striking game to the next level with the Focus Ball. Dramatically improved footwork, timing, head movement, hand-eye coordination, reflex, and overall fight IQ. It's lightweight and extremely portable, so you can train every time, everywhere. When you don't have a coach to do mitt work, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a heavy bag to hit, get a Focus Ball. When you don't have a sparring partner, get yourself a Focus Ball. And when you just want to have fun punching and kicking, get a Focus Ball. When you train with the Focus Ball, you train your eyes and your brain to read punches so that you can hit and not get hit, making this very simple device a must-have for all combat sports athletes and enthusiasts alike. So if you want to take your striking game to the next level, don't wait. Get the Focus Ball now.